I think we're live now. I hope so. Hey, everybody, welcome to a late night cooking something up, free Friday. I'm trying to make sure I'm on here, trying to find myself. Okay, here we go. Say hello. Hey, Bethany. Hey, Pam. Good to see you guys on here. Thank you guys for joining me back in the kitchen. We're back in the kitchen today. All right, I've got my butter melting. I can hear it sizzling behind me. You know, guys, I don't know if you guys can see my pot here. Let me see. Can you see my pot here behind me? Here's my handle that attaches to it. It comes off. That's one of my favorite things I love about these pots. Salad Master, have you guys ever heard of them? Hands down, amazing, best pots ever. Not just because of that, that's just a side bonus. So say hello, let me know where you're joining in from. I am welcoming you guys from Catalina State Park, just outside of Tucson, Arizona. And hey, Sherry, good to see you on here. Anybody curious what we're gonna be cooking up tonight? We are in the kitchen. So, and Jim is not joining us on camera right this minute, but he is actually just behind the camera, right in the game with us here. Right, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Cracking eggs.
Can you guys hear him? He's cracking eggs. Okay. So we're going to take the simplest things that you guys normally do, maybe for holiday time. This is the holiday cooking something up for the busy person who still wants to feel like you've done something homemade and something special for the holiday season that's not your norm, but at the same time, you're busy, right? And it's still somewhat healthy. You know, we talked before about, well, in case you're new, this is Amy Miller. I'm Amy Miller, and I am a researcher of all things natural and have been for 10 plus years and have discovered doTERRA essential oils along the way, and they have allowed us to up-level our lives even more. They definitely don't make our lives better, but I will tell you, they definitely have made our family feel better, look better, and so many families around us have experienced the same thing. I've got my doTERRA Care shirt on tonight. And so we're going to be free from a lot of things tonight, free from toxins, free from humility that maybe you didn't bring a great holiday dessert or dish to that corporate party or to that family gathering. And you're gonna have free to have fun with your oils in the kitchen in case you have never done that before. So now we've talked before in the past about things that are, when we're talking about, especially in the kitchen, we've talked about good, better, and best choices. Now, really that applies to all things that we make choices on, but when it applies to food in the kitchen, there are always the good, better, and the best choices for us. Budget-wise, there are good, better, and best choices regarding our health and how it will either make our bodies stronger or make our bodies weaker. And so we're going to talk about two things. We're going to be making brownies tonight, but these are going to be not just your regular ordinary brownies. These are going to be holiday festive brownies. And we're going to be making chocolate chip cookies that are also not your everyday chocolate chip cookies. These are like up-leveling a notch, holiday festive, okay? So when we think about brownies, what do you think of as like being like the hands down best choice you could make health-wise for brownies? I mean, obviously no brownies would be the best choice, right? Health-wise. We're going to be talking like the best ultimate choice, but what would be the best choice if you are going to have brownies? What would be the best choice? Hey, Sherry, good. You see the pot? Dessert you can make, Bethany, but not so much. Hi, Brenda. Good to see you on here. Okay, so the best choice would be a homemade brownie, right? A homemade brownie made from scratch. Obviously, if you can do like something with low sugar or something with sweetener that's maybe doesn't spike your blood sugar, like stevia or something, maybe it would be a best choice, right? So what I have to show you tonight would be a better choice, okay? So I don't have the best choice, the homemade from scratch, which is actually what I normally would do if I'm making brownies. So we're gonna go with the better choice. These are gluten-free. It's a brownie mix. So, you know, we teach you guys to be like ninja label readers, right? So obviously it has sugar in here, gluten-free flour, cocoa powder. It does have cornstarch, but it is, and I think this is non-GMO. So this would be a better choice. Obviously a good choice if you're gonna talk about brownies, although I would think it'd probably be a bad choice, is if you got maybe a brownie mix, like your Duncan Hines brownie mix. Honestly, I probably wouldn't consider that a good choice just because it's not only loaded with the sugar, but it's also got all of the fake chemicals and synthetic ingredients in there that are just disrupting your whole hormone, endocrine system, everything. And so, so maybe this would be the good choice. Maybe the homemade would be the better, and then no brownies at all would be the best. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do tonight. Totally simple. Like, hello, in the bag, brownie mix. I'm pouring it in here into the bowl here. We're gonna add in our melted butter that I have behind me, and we're also gonna add in. This is 1 stick of butter. That's all. I'm just doing what it says to do in the recipe itself. I'm doing 1 stick of butter. And actually, ooh, I'm gonna need a scraper. My lovely manly assistant is going to help me out here. He's gonna shake. He's gonna shake the whole place here. Okay. That'll work. So, so we're gonna, I know you guys can't see here totally what I'm doing here, but I'm just scraping the butter in here. You guys, if somebody's just joining me, we're going all out tonight. Fancy schmancy in the kitchen. I'm gonna melt the other thing of butter as well while we're talking, because we're gonna do another, we're doing 2 things tonight, right? Now, what do you guys normally love to do? What is your favorite dish that you love to eat dessert wise for the holidays? Like, what do you think of when you think of holiday dessert? Hey Bill, good to see you on here. Vegan brownies. Yes, that would be also another choice. If you are not, if you are dairy free, you could do vegan brownies as well. You have to be careful anytime you're going with something like vegan or even like gluten-free, that sometimes when they do those substitutions for things, they end up not even being as healthy. It makes sense. Like, you could technically, I think you could be vegan and be using margarine for your butter, and that's really not good for your body at all. So, are these my eggs?
3 in 1 of them. Yeah, that's the 3 you need.
Okay. So now I am not a baker. I am not amazing in the kitchen. I live a busy life. But I do like to have things that are homemade, because You know, when you make things homemade, I'm just adding the eggs in. That's all it calls for is eggs and butter added into the mix. And I'm going to mix this up and strain this up in the bowl. When we make things homemade, we know what's going into it, right? We know the love and care that went into it, and we know the ingredients. So that's why I wouldn't say this is a best choice for sure, because the mix itself is not things that I have pulled in. I really came this close to just doing it homemade from scratch. But I went with, sometimes you're going to go for convenience sake. So, and that's okay. When you spend the majority of your time putting focused effort into really being conscious and aware of what you're putting in your body, then your body can handle when you just do an occasional less than ideal choice for your dessert. So I'm just mixing up this brownie mix here, and I'm going to hand this off to the man who has the muscles. Did you guys see those muscles? It was actually like a lot of shirt, but there's muscles in there.
There's a muscle in there.
There are lots of muscles in there.
Kind of little muscle.
Oh, Sherry, yes, pecan pie. Yes. You know, we think of a lot of like pecan pies and things like that. But if you've got like a holiday party coming up, or another family gathering that's around the holiday times, even New Year's Day. How many of you guys do New Year's Day parties? Like a bowl party? How many of you guys do those things? So of course you can add, oh, it says my internet connection's unstable. I hope I'm still filtering through here, you guys. Obviously you can add things to spice this up a little bit, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our peppermint. And another thing that you can do on top after these have baked is you can even crumble up some peppermint candy as well. But I'm gonna go as simple with the peppermint. You can even do wild orange in your brownies if you would like. I just feel like, well, I prefer peppermint, and I feel like peppermint is more holiday-ish. I don't know, what do you guys think? So is that all stirred up, sir?
Pretty good.
All right. And then we're going to put that into our pan as well, which we need to. Now, when you guys grease a pan, what do you typically use? I'm curious. Comment below with what do you typically use when you grease your pan that you're going to bake something in. And we're just going to put in about 2 to 3 drops into our brownie mix. You can go overboard with your oils in the kitchen, and it's always better to err on the side of less and add more than to have too much oil and you can't take it out. Okay, that's a good rule of thumb with your oils in the kitchen. If you want to use your oils in the kitchen, you want to have a place that you're keeping them near everything. Now I have this cute little doTERRA little spice rack here. Isn't this cute? I got this probably 3 years ago when doTERRA had it in their little holiday catalog. And this has got my basil oil, my lime oil, my ginger, my cumin oil, my lemon, my dill, peppermint. What's this one? Cilantro, rosemary, oregano, and cinnamon. So I can do all kinds of cooking and dishes in the kitchen. And I use some other ones too, because we're going to use cassia as well tonight, which is not in my little spice rack here. So, Pam, you prefer peppermint, and both of Pam, you and Bethany, you butter. Yes. Butter is definitely the way to go. Grass-fed butter. This is the butter I use. Actually, I just threw the box away. The Organic Valley cultured pasture butter is typically what I use. Kerrygold is another good one, but I actually just prefer the Organic Valley. It's pastured butter, so that means the cows were raised on grass the way God intended it. Now I'm actually not going to butter, grease my pan with butter. I'm actually going to, do we still have our, oh, also. So this next best thing to what you used to do, maybe when I was growing up, my mom would spray with the, what was it, Pam? Yes. There are many toxins in Pam that we're not going to get into today, but this is an awesome little, I like to use this little avocado spray oil when I don't have extra butter or I want to change it up. And this is just avocado oil, and it is non-aerosol as well. So you want to look for that. So just doing a little avocado oil, and then ooh. Almost having a disaster here. Okay, and then we're just gonna put this in the pan so that we can cook it. And then, so then when you guys cook it, people are gonna think that you had, they're gonna know it's homemade because you put it in your own dish. Although I know some people go around buying like store-bought brownies and then putting them in their own dishes, like as if they made them. I am not doing that. But when they bite into it, they have a nice surprise with them being peppermint. So, and it's yummy. Bethany, you said if you could fly to Ireland and bring it back every couple of months, you would. That was the best butter I ever had. Yes. Can you imagine that? Flying to Ireland just to get your butter? Okay. So while we're waiting for that to get transferred over, and before we start our cookies, I want to show you guys a little chart that I have for when you're using your oils in the kitchen. Oh, it's saying I'm unstable again. So you guys let me know if you can still see and hear me okay. Okay, so if you're wanting to incorporate your oils more into the kitchen, first rule of thumb is, like I said, have a spot in your kitchen. You could even put them, my spice drawer is just beyond here, just below here, right here, where I have all my spices. You could find a space like that. You could do in your spice drawer, find a little spice rack like this. You could hang it up, you know, on the side there, so that of course you don't want to keep them too close to flames. I don't actually keep this here. I actually keep it over there, but so that you guys could see it tonight, I put it here. The second thing is typically, as a general rule, 1 drop of a citrus oil. So that would be oils like your lime, your lemon, your bergamot. Let's see, your grapefruit. What are some of my other tangerine, green mandarin, all of those. 1 drop of your citrus oil can substitute for 1 teaspoon of citrus zest. So if your recipe is calling for lemon, so to speak, the meat inside the lemon, you're going to use your lemon, okay? But if the recipe is calling for lemon zest, you can absolutely substitute in your lemon essential oil, because that's where that's coming from. So 1 drop of lemon essential oil will be the same as 1 teaspoon of your lemon zest. So that's a good rule of thumb when you're using those for different recipes and things. Awesome. So our brownies are ready to go in our, not preheated oven. So in a 5th wheel, we have our oven runs on gas. So we have to put the pilot light on and strike it. So Jim's going to be a handy dandy. We may have to have a 2-person job to be able to do this, but we're going to heat it to 350 and bake it in there. 350 for 30 minutes. Oh, and we're going to need that. Okay, so rule of thumb, if you ever are traveling in a 5th wheel, they are known for not having the most efficient ovens, okay? In fact, yeah, not typically evenly heated. And in fact, some people jokingly or lovingly refer to them as the easy bake ovens. Anybody have those growing up? And so one of the ways that we have helped that process is we have a piece of stoneware. This is actually from Pampered Chef, one of our pizza stones in there. We keep that in there every time we're baking because it actually will help distribute the heat more evenly throughout the oven. So if any of you living in houses also have that same problem with your oven, you could try that as a hack. That tip was for free for you guys. Do you want me to go ahead and put it in there or you want me to wait?
I'll mix with it.
Okay. So now we're going to mix up. Okay, so let me finish telling you, and then we're going to mix up our cookies, our chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to set this over here for you. There. And the bowl for the chocolate chip cookies. Okay. Yeah, Bethany, I know. Best laid plans and oops, forgot to preheat the oven. Okay, so the second rule of thumb, or actually the third rule of thumb when regards to incorporating your oils into the kitchen is for minty oils, so like peppermint like we just used, or even spearmint. So any of the minty oils like spearmint or peppermint, you're going to substitute 1 drop of the essential oil for 1 teaspoon of dried mint leaves or for 1 tablespoon of the fresh mint leaves. Okay, so that's kind of the rule of thumb there. And something we're going to use tonight, actually, I'm going to talk about cinnamon in just a minute. Okay, so any of your herbaceous oils, okay? So those are the oils that are coming from herbs. So your oils like basil, marjoram, rosemary, thyme, cilantro, dill, all of those lovely herbs that we love to pull. You can actually start with just a toothpick amount dipped in the oil, okay? So literally taking a toothpick amount and usually pulling off the orifice reducer, because if your oil is kind of far down in there, it's hard for the toothpick to get in. So you can just pop off the orifice reducer and then toothpick amount in, and then just kind of stir it into whatever you're mixing up. And then you can add more to taste as needed. So for instance, if you're making a spaghetti sauce and you want to add some rosemary to it, or you want to add some oregano or thyme to that, you can certainly do that. But start with a toothpick amount, swirl it in there, taste, and then add more as needed. Because again, like we talked about earlier, you can always add more, but you can't really take away once you've got it in there. So, okay. Let me see what else. So for any other flavors like your fennel, your ginger oil, your lemongrass, clove, those kinds of things, a good kind of rule of thumb is 1 drop of oil to 1 to 2 teaspoons of that dried spice or that dried herb. Okay, and then 1 drop for every 1 to 2 tablespoons if it's a fresh herb. Okay. And I got these handy dandy rules. There's a, on aromatools.com, I don't know what happened right here to this part, but this is a magnetic little chart that you can have with all of your oils here, and then your rules of thumb right here to remember when you're using them in the kitchen, and you can just stick it right to your fridge. Or if you have a non-magnetic fridge, right, like me, you can stick it on your microwave because it's magnetic. So, and my light just went out. Okay, so sorry, my light just went out. Sherry, your dad lives in a fifth wheel? And he uses a new wave oven and toaster oven. Yeah, a lot of people will utilize this because most people will have a convection oven right here and will use that instead because it just heats more evenly. Okay, also, we're going with the mix theme again tonight. This is my chocolate chunk cookie mix. Pamela's, I love this brand. It's non-GMO. And it's non-dairy as well, and it's gluten-free. So again, I try to read the labels. Obviously, cane sugar, organic cane sugar. Yes, it's organic. It is sugar, so it will spike your blood sugar. And you know, sugar is not the best for your body. In case you're wondering, sugar actually, anytime you consume sugar, it will suppress your immune system for a full 24 hours. Yes. So that's always something you want to think about right before you eat your chocolate chip cookie, right? My immune system is suppressed now. So again, if you're just joining us, go back to the beginning where we talked about good, better, and best choices when it comes to what we're putting in our body. But for sake of our time and convenience tonight, we're going to use this. And so we're going to just dump this mix in. And this one is the same way. We're just adding in our melted butter. This one calls for also 1 stick of butter. And I'm just mixing this up. Normally I would go ahead and wash out the dish that I mixed up the brownies in. But this is actually going to be just for my family, but we're going to give some out here too. And we leave here tomorrow, and our family is going to drive to the end of nowhere. I feel like we are driving to Sombra Antigua Winery. And that is where we're going to, I got it. You want to start? And that is where we're going to stay the night before we head on into Texas. It is in a place that if you look at it on the map, it is literally, it's hard to tell if it's either in Texas or New Mexico or in Mexico. It's really just right there on the edge. So we're going there, and then we'll be heading into Texas, and we will be in Central Time Zone from then. So, so you Central Time Zoners who are up late tonight with us in the kitchen, you can join us. Okay, so what's going to make these cookies even more special is that we're going to add cassia to them. Now, here's what I was telling you guys about this sheet here. So now cinnamon and cassia. Okay, so this is your cinnamon bark oil, and this is your cassia essential oil. They're pretty similar. They're cousins in the bark family. And they're typically ground cinnamon that you have in your spice cabinet is actually cassia. And the strength of the flavor is pretty different. And so you'll want to start with, anytime you're using your cinnamon, you'll substitute 1 drop of cinnamon for 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. So very little that you need. And then 1 drop of cassia for 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon or cassia. Okay. So like I love to add a drop of cinnamon in my oatmeal in the mornings. And you guys, the cool thing about using your essential oils in the kitchen is that since you're using so little of it, you know, I've had some of these spices here for several years, and they're still good. I don't have to throw them out like I would with my spices because they've gone bad. And so, except for your citrus oils, your other oils are going to outlast you. So you can just keep them in. And so I buy way less spices than I ever did before because I've got all my oils. Okay, so we're just going to add about 2 drops of cassia. And that's going to make them, as I'm waiting for it to come out. Now, you guys, we've talked about cassia before. There's 3 words that describe cassia, or maybe 2.5. Hot, spicy, and strong. So you want to keep that in mind anytime you're handling cassia. If you get a little bit on the outside or on your finger, definitely do not rub your eyes. You definitely want to put some coconut oil on or some kind of carrier. Spray your hands with that avocado oil that you've got sitting around to dilute it down, because you definitely don't want it getting in your eyes or on your skin, because it will burn. It's very hot oil. Hey, Mariana. Your Pamela's cookies are pretty good too. Okay, so we are just going to put these cookies on here. And they're just gonna make an extra festive cookie and brownie recipe. So I would love to hear what you guys are doing for the holidays and what ways you're bringing your oils into your cooking for this holiday season. And we look forward to seeing you guys. We're gonna be cooking something up for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so join us back here next week and we'll still be cooking something up. Okay, good night, everybody. Bye-bye.